this episode of Dark Oddity, I'm going to tell a story. I was in an abandoned monastery a few years back, I don't know, about 20 years ago. There was rumors surrounding the monastery about a monk that went crazy, killed other monks. Never found any proof of that, but the stories were out there. And I was attracted to the story itself and to the lure of actually going to this place and finding out the truth. And it was basically a monastery, a seminary school, church on the property, everything connected with one building. Never found any evidence that there was murders there, or supposedly there were different levels underneath that, the priest hid out in, and all this to the nonsense that was coming out about it through urban legend. Never found any proof of that. But what we did find was, an old seminary school, and it was awesome. It was awesome. It was a great exploration that, in the middle of the night, and of course in an abandoned building, you're on edge a little bit. You never know who you're going to find, what you're going to find. I rattled off about 300 pictures, which I no longer am in possession of, but in quite a large fraction of those pictures, I had caught stuff on camera. You want to call them lens flares or just orbs or what, but I actually had pictures where you could see a hooded being with the beard, you could see facial details, and I'd say about 8 or 10 of the pictures you could actually see what appeared to be a monk, where nobody was. A lot of the other pictures I had what looked like skeleton creatures, and a large portion as well, about 20-25, where it appeared that there was some type of skeleton being, like a giant jack skeleton, so to speak, where you could see the face and huge arms and huge legs that weren't proportionate to a human being. So I don't know what type of creature this was. I don't know if it was a creature or if it was just the photography gone wrong. It was a digital camera. So I don't know how much, you could really screw up with a digital camera, especially when you're taking pictures in the dark with not a lot of reflective surfaces for the flash to bounce off of. So there's a lot of questions there. I don't have the pictures anymore for proof, which I'm really pissed about. So I can't really debate it too much, but they were great photos. In the exploration, we had gone around the property, and we had entered into the church part. It's a very large church. I don't know how many students were there at the time. If memory serves me correct, there was probably about 100 or 2 students, plus faculty. So the church was large. It was the focal point of the entire school. And we had just gotten done filming a segment in the church. So we packed our stuff up, put it in one little spot, and we were about to make our way out of the church. Now, we kept our equipment behind where the altar would have been. It was a little room that you could enter on one side, come out behind the altar on the other side. No doors there because it's abandoned. Anything that was, on the walls or the windows was either boarded up or just missing. So, there were no doors, but the church windows, the old stained glass, from floor to ceiling, were totally boarded up, reinforced with rebar, just to keep people out. And that's important in the story, because as we went to the back of the altar in that little room, we started to grab our stuff. One of the guys grabbed his bag and started making way back to home base in another part of the school. And there I am with this other guy, and we're just trying to pick all the stuff up, and I'm like, wait a second, he took one thing and left us with like 4 things each. We had cameras, we had camera bags, we had battery packs, we had just everything you need to do a filming, in an abandoned building. So everything's, got to be portable and it's got to be carried. So I turned back to call him and be like, yo, come back. And he's walking away. And of course, I got a little pissed. Turned to the guy I'm with in the room. I'm like, yo, he just walked out on us and left us with everything. So I said, screw this. I go to call him back. And when I did, it was just a little weird. I had like a little I don't know if you want to call it like a deja vu or something, but it was something similar to that. Where all of a sudden he was about 10, 15 feet closer than he should have been if he was walking away, which was a little weird. But 4 o'clock in the morning, abandoned facility, and, it didn't dawn on me right away. And I'm calling him, he's not answering. I turned back to the other guy, and I probably said something like, all right, we got to hump this back. And then I turned back to look again, and then it's when I realized I still see him walking away, and I'm realizing he's not wearing the same clothes as the guy who was just with us. And I'm like, okay, something's not right. And I watched the guy walk, and he walked across where the pews would have been. There was the old balcony from where the organist and the choir were. And he walked right underneath there into a point of the church where it led to 2 places, an exit or the basement. Problem with that is the exit was bricked up from floor to ceiling. There was no way to get out of the building that way. Basement went down about 10 steps and was flooded about 5 feet deep. We were down there. So whoever this person was, or dare I say ghost, either went for the brick wall or into the flooded basement. That's all I got on that one. I have no idea what happened.